Hello everyone, welcome back to Lady Show English. Today we're going to explore an important health topic through English learning. We'll look at how changes in money management can be early warning signs of dementia. This is not just a language lesson, it's also valuable information that might help you or your loved ones. So let's get started. When someone who has always been careful with money suddenly becomes careless about their finances, this change in behavior might signal something serious. Medical researchers have discovered that financial problems can appear years before a dementia diagnosis. Let me explain what I mean by this. Imagine a person who always paid bills on time. Suddenly, they start receiving late payment notices. Or perhaps they make unusual purchases that don't make sense. These behavioral changes deserve our attention because they could be early signs of memory disorders. Before we continue with the story, let's learn some important vocabulary that will help you understand this topic better. The first key term is dementia. This word refers to a group of conditions that affect memory, thinking, and social abilities. When we say someone has dementia, we mean their mental abilities have declined enough to interfere with daily life. The adjective form is demented, though we rarely use it in polite conversation. Instead, we say a person with dementia to show respect. Another important word is diagnosis. This is the medical term for identifying what disease or condition someone has. The verb form is diagnose. For example, doctors diagnose patients after running tests. We can say receive a diagnosis or get diagnosed with something. This word comes from Greek, which explains why it has that unusual spelling with the silent G. Now let's talk about the phrase in disarray. When something is in disarray, it means it's messy, disorganized, or chaotic. We often use this phrase to describe papers, files, or rooms that are not properly arranged. It's more formal than simply saying messy. For instance, you might say after the meeting, the conference room was in disarray, or her thoughts were in disarray after hearing the bad news. The word delinquency is crucial in financial contexts. It refers to the failure to pay money that you owe. We often hear about payment delinquencies, which means overdue bills or unpaid debts. The adjective is delinquent, as in a delinquent account. This word can also refer to bad behavior, especially by young people, but in our news story, it's specifically about money. Let's look at the phrase fall victim to. This expression means to be harmed by something or someone, often because you were tricked or couldn't protect yourself. We commonly say fall victim to a scam or fall victim to fraud. Notice we use to not of after this phrase. It emphasizes that something bad happened to you through no fault of your own. Throughout this topic, you'll notice we use the present perfect tense frequently. For example, has been living, have discovered, or has worsened. We use this tense when we talk about actions that started in the past and continue to affect the present. Let me give you some examples from our story. When we say researchers have found, we mean they found something in the past, and this finding is still important now. Or she has been living with her daughter since 2020 tells us the living arrangement started in 2020 and continues today. This tense is essential when discussing ongoing medical conditions or long-term care situations. Let me share some real stories that illustrate these warning signs. One woman noticed her mother, who had been extremely organized her entire life, suddenly couldn't keep proper records. Her checkbook, which used to be perfect, became filled with crossed-out numbers and confused calculations. This methodical person started making large cash withdrawals that didn't make sense for daily expenses. In another case, a man who had worked as a finance executive began accumulating massive credit card debt. This was completely out of character for someone who had always taught his children to be responsible with money. He even bought a new car he didn't need, just months before losing his driving license. These weren't just poor decisions, they were signs that something was affecting his judgment and memory. Let's learn some phrases that describe these situations. The expression out of character means behavior that is unusual or different from how someone normally acts. If your quiet friend suddenly becomes very loud at a party, you might say, "That's so out of character for her." This phrase helps us identify when someone is not acting like themselves. Another useful phrase is keep track of. This means to monitor or record information about something over time. For example, I keep track of my expenses in a notebook, or she keeps track of her mother's medications. The opposite would be lose track of, meaning you no longer know or remember details about something. We also need to understand power of attorney. This is a legal document that gives someone the authority to make decisions on another person's behalf, especially regarding finances or medical care. When someone has power of attorney, they can sign documents, pay bills, or make healthcare choices for someone who cannot do these things themselves. It's an important planning tool for families dealing with aging or illness. Since this topic involves finances, let's look at common word combinations with pay. We always say pay bills, never pay invoices in everyday conversation. We pay attention when we focus on something carefully. We can pay in cash or pay by card. We pay off a debt when we finish paying it completely, as in she paid off her credit card. Notice how different prepositions change the meaning. You pay for something when you buy it, but you pay off a loan when you eliminate the debt entirely. Understanding financial terms like pay is crucial, especially when managing money becomes a challenge in situations like those described in the study, where financial decisions can impact safety and independence. Families facing these challenges often struggle to balance safety with dignity. One daughter noticed her mother would withdraw money multiple times daily and give it to strangers, or fall victim to phone scams. However, when they simply took away her bank card, her mother lost her independence and social connections. This created a difficult dilemma. How do you protect someone while still allowing them personal freedom? This situation led to creative solutions. Some families now use special cards that allow monitoring and spending limits while still giving the person some financial autonomy. Others set up automatic bill payments early on, before the condition worsens significantly. The key message from healthcare experts is clear: plan ahead before you need to. Let's discuss the word autonomy. This means the ability to make your own decisions and control your own life. We value autonomy because it gives us freedom and dignity. In medical contexts, patient autonomy is very important. We want people to maintain their autonomy as long as possible, even when they need help. The adjective is autonomous, meaning independent or self-governing. The phrase stem the tide or stem the flow means to stop or slow down something that is happening in large amounts. Originally, stem meant to stop the flow of water. Now we use it figuratively for many situations. For example, the government tried to stem the tide of unemployment, or in our story, trying to stem the money outflow. It suggests you're trying to control something that's moving or spreading quickly. Another important phrase is squander money. This means to waste money carelessly or foolishly. When you squander something, you use it up on things that aren't worthwhile. We can squander money, time, opportunities, or talents. For instance, he squandered his inheritance on gambling, or don't squander this chance to learn. It carries a negative judgment about wastefulness. Moving from the idea of squandering resources to emphasizing the value of meaningful actions, let's explore another key phrase that highlights the importance of certain experiences or benefits. One speaker in the article used the expression, "It's hard to overstate what a gift that was." This phrase means something is so important that you almost cannot emphasize it enough. When we say it's hard to overstate, we mean the significance is enormous. For example, it's hard to overstate the importance of early diagnosis, or it's hard to overstate how much this helped our family. It's a sophisticated way to emphasize something strongly. Since we're discussing health issues, let's learn some related terms. A nursing home is a residential facility for people who need constant medical care, usually elderly people. Long-term care refers to services that help people who cannot care for themselves for an extended period. A medical proxy is someone authorized to make healthcare decisions for you if you cannot. Incapacitated means unable to do things for yourself or make your own decisions, usually due to illness or injury. These terms often appear together in discussions about aging and healthcare planning. Understanding them helps you navigate these difficult conversations in English-speaking healthcare systems. This topic reminds us that language learning connects to real life. When we learn English through health news, we're not just memorizing words, we're gaining knowledge that matters. Whether you're caring for aging parents, working in healthcare, or simply planning for your own future, these vocabulary items and concepts are genuinely useful. Notice how this article uses narrative structure. It starts with research findings, then shares personal stories to illustrate the points, and finally offers solutions. This is a common pattern in health journalism. Recognizing these patterns helps you understand and remember the content better. Thank you for learning with me today. We've explored an important health topic while building your English skills. We've learned vocabulary about healthcare, finances, and family care. We've practiced the present perfect tense and examined useful phrases like out of character and fall victim to. Remember, here at Ladies Show English, we focus on sharing current events and practical English through news about health, food, travel, business, technology, and environmental topics. These are subjects that touch your daily life and help you learn English that you can actually use. If you found this lesson helpful, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. Don't forget to click the notification bell so you won't miss future lessons. I'll see you in the next video. Until then, keep learning and stay healthy. Goodbye.